great evening to be a Republican here in Trinity County, Texas. Thanks to the Republican Party for the hospitality they've showed me several times we've been over here for events like this. Y'all got a great Republican Party, great Republican leadership here in Trinity County, and y'all made me especially welcome. I'm just a country boy from Polk County next door. I have spent the better part of my life over there. I grew up more or less on my grandparents' farm, raised pigs, cows, and stuff like that in high school. I live on my grandparents' farm today, my wife and family. I did graduate from Livingston High School in 1984. Went to Sam Houston State University, Enema Bearcats. Went out of state to law school to the University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi. I was an Ole Miss Rebel as well. And you Alabama fans, where'd they go over here? God bless y'all too. I practiced law in Greenville, Mississippi for 4 years. I took the Mississippi bar exam and did almost exclusively civil litigation in the state of Mississippi, family law, personal injury law, medical malpractice law, did a lot of real property work. In 1994, I had a fantastic opportunity to come home. I was getting homesick. I became an assistant attorney general for the state of Texas and did civil litigation for the Texas prison system and the Texas Department of Public Safety for about 2 years. In 1996, I had an opportunity to come back home. I figured that was my last best chance to go back and be with my family. My grandparents were getting old. My parents were aging. And so I came home. And I had aspired, my undergraduate degree was in criminal justice. I always enjoyed the criminal justice system. And I had a chance to come to work for the DA's office. And so I hired on. I was an assistant for 11 years. Travis alluded to Joe Price. I've got a Joe Price story of my own. Dina Bell's a dear friend of mine. I tried the third installment of the Johnny Paul Henry capital death penalty case back in 2002. Joe and I became very, very dear friends. In fact, we were together the night that he was tragically killed back in 1993. That's 19 years ago. Time has certainly gone by. I became the elected district attorney in Polk County in 2007. I was approached by the Republican Party leadership in Polk County a year or so before that, when it became apparent that the spot was going to become open. My boss was planning on retiring. They said, "Lee, we would like you to consider running as a Republican." And my response to them was, do I really have any other choice? At the time, the way I was raised, the church I grew up in, the values that my grandparents and parents instilled in me were totally compatible with the Republican Party and its platform at that point in time. And it still is. Every time I've run for public office in Polk County, I've served 4 terms as the elected district attorney over there. I've proudly signed up to run on the Republican ballot. And that's what I'm doing here in this election for district judge. I'm blessed. I've had a successful career as a prosecutor and as district attorney. I believe you have a shelf life as a public official, and there becomes a time when you need to move on and let somebody else have better ideas about how things ought to run. So I've had a career. I'm eligible to retire. If this doesn't work out as a judge, I'm going to be fine. But I do want to continue to make a difference. I have tried for 26 years to protect my county as best I can and to keep it from becoming like Houston, with people bonding out on these low bonds, reoffending over and over, probationers not being held accountable, sex offenders not being properly punished. That's my perspective on the criminal justice system, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I understand the judge needs to be fair and impartial, enforce the law, uphold the Constitution. I do that now as DA. I will continue to do it if I'm elected district judge. There will never be any question, I promise you, in your mind, if you elect me as your district judge, as to whether is this man really a Republican or not. If I don't live up to your expectations and values that you good people here in Trinity County expect of a judge, in 4 years you can vote me out of office. And I won't feel bad about it if you do, but I will respect what you expect of me as a district judge. And I will do the best I can to protect you, your families, your children, your grandchildren, the same way I have for 26 years in Polk County. I appreciate your vote for Republican primary. Thank you, Scott.
Trial is a cornerstone of our legal system. The COVID pandemic has brought the legal system to a grinding halt, and it is slowly moving again. What will you do to get the wheels moving at full speed and reducing the amount of indicted people awaiting trial in jail?
the same time, there are probably a third of the cases currently pending in the 258th District Court that aren't even currently set on the docket. It is the responsibility of the judge's office to set the cases on the docket and make sure that they are shepherded through the system in an efficient and timely fashion. So you've got to have good case management coming out of the office of the district judge. Judge Kitchens is correct, we only have a limited amount of trial dates a year. But at the same time, you've got to let criminals and defendants know they are going to be held accountable at some point. If they choose to go to trial, or if they choose to come to the judge for punishment on a guilty plea, they've got to understand there's going to be a day of reckoning for them. And if you don't have a judge that has a sentencing philosophy that reflects the values and standards of juries in Trinity County, these people don't have any incentive to plead guilty or work their cases out with your district attorney. Y'all got an excellent district attorney's office here with Benny Shire, a great county attorney as well. But you got to have a judge that will back them up as well when people come to trial and are convicted and the judge sets punishment. I know your juries are tough here in Trinity County because they're just like they are over in Polk County. But you got to have a judge that is going to hold people accountable and give them some incentive to work their cases out, or ultimately hold them responsible if they go to trial.